you take your equipment, and you know, I have to go out there, I have to do whatever it takes, that sacrifice. At a very young age, I began to be molded and began to understand these things. But the reason that I was able to go back home when I heard my mother crying is because, one, I loved her. And what is a keeper without someone who loves? The ex-firefighters, every time you took on your uniform and you went, whether you ran into a burning building or a burning house, or whether you had to climb a tree or a ladder, whatever it was, you did it, you risked your life, you put yourself in uncomfortable positions and predicaments because of your love. And the reason that I was able to do things for my mother that she did for me, bathe her and clean her and tend to her, is because I understood that I needed to support her. I understood she needed someone who was there for her. And my mom began to trust me. Although I'm a young child at that age, I'm 7 years old, she began to trust me as if I was an adult male, because she saw that I was an accountable person. And every individual who is here, who is part of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, I know that you too are a person who has the same characteristics. You're a person who is accountable. You're a person that when they called you, whenever the commissioner, your captain, whoever was in charge, called you, said your name, said your number, they knew that they could count on you. And we see that because you are here and you're able to be part of this association, still giving back, because you're an accountable individual. And these are the types of people that we need in this day and age. You see, at that moment, as I'm a child, I began to develop these principles and these precepts. And I remember my mother wanting to walk again. Doctors saying that she would never be able to walk, but she wanted to walk again. And even though I'm doing all these great things, all these mature things as a child, I still thought of as a child sometimes. So whenever she would get up out of her wheelchair, I said, Mom, what if you fall and you die? She said, no, I can't stay like this. And one day I see her struggling, trying to get out of her wheelchair. And I said, you really want to walk? And she said, yes, I want to walk. I can't stay like this. I said, even though the doctor said that you can't walk, I have faith that you will be able to walk one day. I'm going to teach you how to walk. I remember putting my mom on the steps. At that time, we lived on a lower level of a house. I remember putting her on the steps. And I would put her on the steps, and I would help her go up and down the steps, on her tush, going up and down the steps, until her legs got strong enough that she could take a couple of steps. So I remember the day that it was myself, my mother, and the home health aide. We went to her doctor, and we said, well, the home health aide said, I didn't say it, you're still a child. I said, the home health aide said, she needs a physical therapist. He said, what do you mean? She can walk. Remember what we said? I said it. The second doctor said it. She'd never be able to walk again. At that moment, the home health aide said, Lourdes, get up and show him. And my mom got up and she began to take a couple of steps. And as she took those couple of steps, the doctor said, we need to get this woman a physical therapist because we're going to make sure that she can walk and run again. And I'm so happy to say that today my mom, she walks, she goes jogging, she's able to work, she's able to do all these things for me. And I'm so very grateful. But you see, it took a young child, it took a young Frank Joseph to be able to stand up, and even in the moment of uncertainty, in the face of something that he never encountered and he didn't know what was going to be next, to be willing to stand up and say, I'm going to do whatever it takes because we're not going to just stay here. And I believe that whenever someone decides to become a firefighter and enlist in the brigade, they have that same mentality. They have that mentality that I will face uncertainty in the face. I will look at confusion and disaster and turmoil in the face. And though I may not know what's on the other side, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to go into that building and I'm going to come out with somebody. I'm going to save a life. I'm going to change the situation around. I'm going to put this fire out. And at a very young age, it was that same spirit that I had, where I said, this was not going to be my final resting place. This is not where we were going to stay. We were going to put this fire out. As my mom began to walk and began to work again, she was struggling. Had to work 2 jobs now to support me and to help the family. So for me, what I saw was my mother, no matter what situation she was faced with, she always wanted more and she always wanted to do better. When she was disabled and couldn't walk, she said, I'm going to be able to walk. And when she was able to walk, she said, I'm going to work and I'm going to provide for my son. And I'll work 2 or 3 jobs just to make sure he gets the best education that he could possibly get so that he can be somebody one day, because this will not be the final resting place. So for me, what began to stir me, what began to stir inside of me and told me that I need to be a servant to the people was that when we were going through all this, we didn't have a lot of people by our side. We had her best friend, Rosalind, who I called my aunt, and we had the home health aide who was very caring, Mary, very caring. These were people who stood next to us, but we didn't have a lot of people helping. So for me, growing up, I believe in this model that says, be who you needed to be when you were younger. So I wanted to put myself in a position that I could help folks who are going through similar circumstances, going through hardships, and helping to guide them so that they don't have to make the same pitfalls and so that they don't have to go through the same tribulation. And that's why I decided to get into public affairs and join public service so that I can be my brother's keeper, so that I can be my sister's keeper, so that I can help provide the resources for the community, help provide the resources for those who are disenfranchised, for those who are chastised, and those who are being bullied, for those who don't have enough. And I think the men and women who are here today have that same spirit, where they put themselves in positions where they said, I will help those who don't have. I will help those who are confused, not just by what you did when you were a firefighter, but by coming together and creating this association so that you can give back to the next generation, so that you can give back to the community. And as the president began to speak and said, starting new branches, and assisting the old branches in Florida, assisting the branches that were created in Canada, and helping branches that are in different islands, in different parts of the world, because understanding that we need to band together because there is a brighter day, there is a brighter future, and even though things may not look like it right now, we want to see that brighter day. And I think that everyone who is here has that duty and has that obligation to do that. When I begin to look at the time that we're in right now, and just not too long ago, yesterday, Friday, hearing what happened in Paris, the attack that occurred, the tragedy that occurred, this coordinated attack, this is evil. The access of evil is running rampant in our society today. But if men and women will refuse to stand up and say that I will be the keeper, I will be the person who loves on my neighbor, to make sure that we can drive out, hey, I will be the person to support the people in Paris, or to support the people in Kenya, or to support the people in the Midwest, or support the people in Israel, support the people in the Caribbean islands, those who are hurting, those who are crying, those who don't know where their loved ones are. We need those people to stand up. We need those people to stand up who are going to say that I'm going to give my all, I'm willing to sacrifice myself for the betterment of society at large. In this time that we're living in, we need those folks to stand up. And as I began to think of my generation, the emerging generations, those that are to come, we have this duty and this obligation to make sure that we are in the front lines and that we are driving out evil with love, that we are supporting one another, and that we are being each other's keeper. So I look to organizations like the Jamaica Ex-Firefighters Association, men and women who did so much work in their communities, came and banded together and said, we're going to still keep on doing work. So I look to you. I look at your example. Those of you in the audience that I know and I've seen the work that you've done in the community, I thank you because you inspire me. The work that I do when I begin to move forward and help communities and help the city is because I see the work that you do. And those that I don't know, just by association, just by knowing what you're a part of, I can only imagine the great work that you do. So continue to be that shining light, continue to be that example for the generations to come, so that they know that this is not their final resting place, that there is more to aspire to. That this evil that we see in this world now is not where it ends for us. This is not the destination, this is not the journey that we have to accept, but we have an opportunity to begin to craft what the future looks like. So when we talk about being our brother and our sister's keeper, It is so much in one. It's a motto that I personally embody. And the rest of the motto, it's not just I am my brother's keeper. It's I am my brother's keeper, and together we will rise. See, the reason that you decide to sacrifice so much, and even possibly sacrifice your life for your neighbor, for your brother, for those who put on the uniform, for those who are in your community, for your family members, for your neighbors, for your loved ones, is because you understand that there is a brighter day. And even if you don't get to see it, you understand that you're going to take your community, you're going to take your people out of whatever situation that they're in right now. From a very young age is something that I faced. I remember people used to tell me, little Frank is 5 going on 30, just because of his maturity, just because of the work that he was able to put in for his family. Well, I look to all of you here today, and I believe that there is a legacy that you have left. There's a legacy that you are still building upon. And I just hope that you keep trekking, keep moving forward. To be able to have this gala for 9 years strong, 9 years of community work, 9 years of bringing in firefighters and training them and teaching them and being a support network, 9 years of looking at those who are coming, the emerging generation, and saying that we're going to grab them, we're going to hold on to them, and we're going to move forward with them, we're going to hold them accountable. 9 strong years. And the thing I like about the number 9 is after 9, the next number means that we start over, we get a brand new opportunity. After 9 is 10. You begin a whole new set of numbers, and you begin a new opportunity. You begin to create another decade of legacy, another decade of greatness. And I look forward to see what you will do together in this next decade that you're about to embark on. I know that it's been a tough journey. I can only imagine the things that you faced, the circumstances that you've been in, the men and women that you may have even lost in the line of duty. But the best thing that you can do to carry on their name and to carry on their legacy is to keep trekking. Continue being that light that shines on top of the mountain, that light that shines on top of the hill, helping guide new people. For me, that was my life story. My life story was uncertainty, and I decided to stand up and to stand tall and say, I'm going to make a difference, and I'm going to be the keeper of those that I know and those that I don't know. And each of you here have done that and continue to do that. I hope that we can band together, we can move forward, and that we will be our brother's keeper, and that we will be our sister's keeper, and together we all will rise. God bless you, and thank you.